All right. No, I'm just kidding, y'all. What's up? Hey, how you guys doing today, man? Welcome back to another episode of Brothers of Truth podcast. Today we didn't even try to mess with it today. We didn't even try to fiddle with it today. Aaron is not even going to try to come on camera today until we get some better equipment, man. Aaron said, "Forget it, man. He's not even going to try to come on video today." So he on the phone. Go ahead and say what's up, Aaron.
It's the favorite host in the world, your boy Aaron Thompson. How y'all beautiful people doing today?
I don't know about your favorite host because we all know that's me, Stu. You know what I'm saying? But your second favorite. You know he could be a second favorite. Ain't no wrong with that.
No sir.
And I'm coming to y'all from a loft hotel here in Charlotte, North Carolina. That's probably one of the best hotels I've been at in my life. Honestly, it's a really nice hotel, very luxurious, luxurious. It's a very beautiful hotel. Jayla, what's up on here? She on here faithfully. She said that boy AT. So what's good with y'all?
Out to Miss Jayla. Yes, sir.
And so yeah, we got a really good show for you guys here today. We're talking about HBCU athletics. We're talking about athletes and why they should choose HBCUs over PWIs and what those HBCUs need to do to draw the bigger and better athletes to these schools.
Most definitely, man. We gotta change. We gotta change our black communities up for better, and it starts with our athletic programs, which provide a lot of funding. So the more good athletes we can get to stay home, the better we can have our communities.
Exactly, man. Exactly. Because to be honest, man, my 2 years at HBCU, even though it was Livingstone and Livingstone probably the bottom of the barrel. No, I'm just playing. Even though it was Livingstone, I felt more at home at Livingstone than I ever did at any of the PWIs I've been to. Because HBCU just care about you more. In my opinion, but that's really what I think about it.
Yeah, and me as well. I was a walk-on at Livingstone on the track team. We don't have the best facilities, and we don't have the best of everything in the conference, or even overall. But it's what you do with it, man. Because I worked myself up from running like a 51 400 to 48 47.
What is
man.
this?
So it's about what you do and what you have, and you got to put the time and the effort. You got to want it. It's not going to be given to you, regardless of the facilities that you have and all these other resources. It's better to have those, but sometimes you got to work with what you got. And if you want it bad enough, you're going to make it happen regardless.
Exactly. So today we got two guests on here. We have a coach from Livingstone College. We have a track coach, and we also have another track athlete. Aaron had to get his fast boys on the show today. He had to get his fast people. Ain't no big people want to be on the show. I asked some of my fat boys to be on here, and they didn't want to be on here. They was too busy going around eating and stuff, so they didn't want to be on the show today. But we got some two really great people here, man. First and foremost, what we're gonna do, we're gonna chat up a little bit here. Aaron has a couple of stats, some statistics that he's gonna bring up about HBCUs, and then we're gonna dive into our first guest. So, Aaron, man, what you got for us on the statistics side?
Most definitely. First, I really just kind of wanted to just take a dive and see what HBCUs produce the best, or the most talent out here. And I'm gonna kind of give you a rundown of some. I'm not gonna name the whole list, but I'll give you a rundown of a few of them. At the bottom of the list, at 10, you had North Carolina A&T. They produce 21 professional athletes as Al Adams, the former NBA coach, as well as a former NFL player, and Dwayne Boyd. He played for San Francisco, New Orleans, and he was a 4-time Super Bowl champ. Also, you got, I'm going to skip to Morgan State that came in at 6th on the list. They came in with 45 pro athletes, led by 3 Olympic runners. Josh Colbreth, he won bronze in the 400-meter hurdles. Jack Pierce, he won the bronze in the 110 hurdles. And then you had Roselle Stevens, who won the bronze in the 4x4.
Okay. So let's just go ahead and skip to that number one team. Who is the biggest and brightest HBCU out there, man? Who is the
Man,
HBCU that breeds the biggest athletes, man?
it may be surprising to some, but it's not surprising to me because I see them, on TV a lot. Actually, it's Grambling State. They produce 119 pro athletes, but
Man.
110 of those are, NFL or were NFL players. And to highlight that list was Doug Williams, Super Bowl MVP and champ for the Washington, hopefully former Redskins to be. So yeah.
We just gonna go ahead. We're gonna speak it into existence. The Washington Redskins are gonna be called the Washington Red Tails. We're gonna speak it into existence. So Doug Williams, the former Grambling State quarterback, definitely speared that heads that spear of all the athletes. Of all the athletes that went from Grambling State on to the NFL. So, like you said, man, that's a lot of football players going into the NFL. Starting with Doug Williams. And he was, first of all, the first black quarterback to win a Super Bowl.
Yep.
So, having the first black quarterback be from HBCU, I think is only fitting,
Right. Exactly. And hopefully we see more of this. We need to see more of this in the future, and hopefully with this show today, we kind of open some eyes and ears, and we can make this happen.
Exactly, man. So with that being said, man, we're gonna bring on a very good athlete. I think personally, I went and did some research on him. He's also a graduate of Virginia State University. He also has a podcast right now that pretty much rivals ours. You know what I'm saying? It ain't better than ours. No, I'm just playing. It's a good podcast himself. It's alright. You know what I'm saying? It ain't all that, but you feel me. But no, we're gonna bring him on the show, man. He has a lot of good things to say. Mr. Lou, man, how you doing today?
Hello. How y'all doing? How I sound good? My audio good?
You sound good, bro. You sound good.
All right, that's good. Y'all, how y'all doing, man?
It's all good, bro.
That's good. Y'all said, as Stu just said, I am. And I'm gonna get you, man. You supposed to be up here with us, yo. What's up with that?
Man, I'm trying. Man, we trying to get our technology up like Cowboys. We with the mics in there. We trying to be official. You been?
I feel you, man. It's a process. But like Stu said, like Stu said, I am the host of the White Name Podcast. My podcast basically about 22-year-olds transitioning to the real class world because like right now we believe this is the biggest change of our life. That both of me and my co-hosts are graduates of Virginia State, so transitioning to the real class world and talk about the views of how we see it through our eyes. I feel like that's what our podcast is about. And then I want y'all to know that Aaron not gonna say it, but me and him ran against each other in the same event, 800, and I'm gonna just let him say who had the fastest 800 time.
Dang, Aaron, he putting you out there, boy.
Hey, it's cool. He won, but like, I ran at 156, so I'm right there up there.
Man, that 156.
That's solid. I mean, it won't faster than mine, but it's cool.
Hey, what happened at conference though? I think I made finals though. Hold on, what happened to you though?
I made finals too. With Bowie State. That's why we talk about 2019. Yeah, 2019 Bowie State. I was actually in the fastest heat, and I had to get in by seed place. So the top two of each heat. Yeah, so top two of each heat. Yeah.
You got in, but you got in with the slow heat, so that really don't even count like that. Dang.
Yeah.
One of the fastest runners in the BI. My boy from
It's all love, man. It's all love.
It's
good. So, but exactly, we all competitive here. So I got to be the moderator. I got to keep this on track. But yeah, most definitely.
It might get ugly in here, man.
Yeah, just a little bit. The Trojans and Blueberries don't really like each other like that. But we're gonna keep pushing. So go ahead, man. Exactly. So go ahead, Aaron, man. Go ahead, ask him the first question you got for Luke here today, man.
For sure. So, my fellow brother, first I want to ask you, why did you choose the HBCU you chose?
All right, so it's a fun fact because I actually stumbled into going to Virginia State. So my original choice was to go to VCU, Virginia Commonwealth University. For you guys who don't know, that was my school that I wanted to go to. But the reason that I didn't go there because there was a D1 school and they was trying to because my senior year I got hurt and they were trying to say that I wasn't consistent enough for a scholarship. So I ended up going to the next closest school, and then I only wanted to be at Virginia State for 2 years, but I understand all 4 years just because I love the program that I got to. So I actually stumbled going to VSU because where I'm from in Portsmouth, Virginia, we look, or not we look down, but it's frowned upon to go to VSU because they say everybody from my area goes to that area. I mean, go to that school, which was
Right.
so wrong because a lot of people from my area didn't go to school. So we had a bad
Mm.
connotation on going to VSU. But when I got there, I loved it. Me like first day I stepped on campus, it was like the best thing. The HBCU experience is unmatched.
HBCU
That's what's up.
experience definitely is unmatched, man. I'm telling, and I think that's really crazy. A lot of us who went through HBCUs, like you said, we all just stumbled. You know, we all
Yeah,
just stumbled into the. I've told a story to a whole bunch of people who know me. You know, me going to Livingstone was literally an accident. I went to Livingstone because I was skipping class in high school. I was skipping class, and Livingstone was there. They was in a little sign up. You know how the schools come. They try to get people to come to school or whatever. And
yeah.
so I was like, yo, if I come to this, I get a hall pass, so I won't get in trouble for skipping class. And so I only went there to get the hall pass, man. And I ended up getting stuck at Livingstone, but it was stuck. I ended up loving Livingstone, so it was great, man. But I literally stumbled. I really was skipping class and landed in college. So that's how that worked.
I
That's what's
mean,
up.
everybody got their own situations.
Most definitely. Most definitely. And I'm going to kind of give my experience of how I got to Livingstone. But first, I want to kind of ask Lou another question. Like, what would you tell a top profile athlete to, like, how would you introduce your experience to them to get a top profile athlete to commit to HBCU?
I feel like we have to talk to the top profile to athletes to be somewhere that they want to be at, where they're going to be celebrated for being them instead of being an athlete. So, as you know, when you go
Right.
to these big schools, in basketball, Kentucky, Duke, Kansas, all these top schools, they're don't sometimes a lot of these athletes will be the only black people on campus, the athletes. So you
Mm-hmm.
already in a place where you're the minority and you're only there because you're the athlete
Right.
versus where you can go to a HBCU and build a family, be in a family like environment. So instead of just being with your other black teammates, you're gonna be with other black students. You're gonna have a better experience. You're gonna just enjoy the HBCU life. I've been to PWIs. They're cool, but it's nothing like the HBCU experience.
Yeah, it's a different feel, right?
Yeah,
I definitely agree, man. It's a different because and like you said, man. If anybody who watched the Michael Vick documentary and he told about his experience of when he went to Virginia Tech, he said he was literally scared. The dude
I
was scared.
believe it.
He was from Newport News. He's from Newport News, which is one of the roughest places in
Places
Virginia, and the
the
dude
roughest.
was scared in Blacksburg. Like he thought he was gonna get lynched or all the other stuff, and so but he was literally scared, which is why he went home all the time because he was like the only black person on campus, and it wasn't until it was him and his other black football players or basketball players that he hung around, and it wasn't until he became the infamous Michael Vick that he felt more comfortable and safe on that campus. So that's definitely something that people need to. I guess when we go out and pitch to these athletes, these high profile athletes, like yo, don't you want to feel safe? Don't you want to feel at home, like with people of your own kind? Like
And and that's
that.
funny because I
That
have
to me personally, having that home feeling is a good
and
pitch.
that's and that's funny because not to
Most definitely.
cut you off or nothing, but I have a friend that went to Tennessee University. She was a D1 athlete, and she would say she would go days without seeing other black person that was not an athlete, and that's crazy because she was
Okay,
like people. A lot of people there was like saying the first time they seen black people was when they got to school
right,
at these big schools.
right, and that's
Man,
crazy. So I'm
shaking my head.
right. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna ask a little question, man.
Uh,
Lou, my question for you, dog, is like you said your plan was to go for 2 years, get your grades right, and then transfer to VCU.
Hmm.
And I know a lot of people when I was at Livingstone who has the same thing. They was, yo, I don't want to be here at LC. I'm gonna use this for 2 years, get my grades right, because I didn't have the grades in high school. I'm gonna get these grades right, and I'm gonna transfer to North Carolina, to Duke, whatever the case may be. So what, like you said, and later you changed your mind. So my thing was, what was your key thing? Like, what was the it factor for you that was like, you know what, I'm staying here at Virginia State, and I'm gonna continue my my legacy here at Virginia State.
So when I got to Virginia State, so this is not even for the pro athlete, but this is for even a great athlete. So, who's have aspirations or anything. When I got to Virginia State, my freshman year, I'm coming there with that mindset of I'm only here for 2. I'm only here for 2 years, and I'm about to VC or even Virginia Tech or another big D1 school because I believe that I was talented enough. But my freshman year, I broke my foot, and this is the second time that I broke my foot in within a year. So I gave it the aspirations of going to because I toured all these schools. I toured the ODUs, I toured the VCUs, I toured the Techs. Let me see how far I guess he gone. So I toured all these schools and all, but they technically they had bigger size classrooms. So when I was at Virginia State and I did my tour there, they said my classroom size could be 20 to 30 size people. So when I broke my foot again, I came with the mindset of I'm gonna let this sport help me advance further in school so I can get to the bigger goal in my life. So, being at my
Right.
school, being at HBCU, they preach internships, going to all these what they call when you have all these job fairs, career fairs and stuff. And it was just at VCU at other schools, they were just saying about how good their education was, but they wasn't saying anything about after that. They wasn't saying versus Virginia State. They were saying, hey, we want our job is not just to leave you here with a degree, but to leave with a job as well. So when I got that mindset of like I'm gonna let VSU help me benefit to the next level beyond sports. I only want to be in school for 4 years. So
Right.
how could I use these next 4 years to help me get to the next level? Like not just as in sports, but as in my career wise. So that's why I ultimately stayed at Virginia State because there's opportunities I could have went to another school. I could have came back home closer with Norfolk State's ODU, Hampton school close to where I'm from. But Virginia State, which I just named a lot of other APCs, but Virginia State offered me the best opportunity.
Mhm.
That's good, man. That's good. We got time for one more question there, Aaron.
That's what it is. Okay, well, so with all that we discussed, how do you feel like as a community we can help our athletes? You know, once they commit to coming to HBCU, how can we, as a community and fellow classmates and professors, how do you think we can help them to where they can have the best experience?
So, if I heard you correctly, your question was how can we as a community, the Black community, help our top athletes commit to the APCs? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Right. So,
All right.
how can we give them the best experience and to make sure that they get to where they want to go?
A lot of the reason that these bigger schools have an advantage on us is because of the exposure aspect. So if we
Mm-hmm.
can start as a community, start supporting our HBCUs more, start going to our HBCU games. Like you quick to turn on North Carolina, a Duke, Kansas basketball game. Let's turn on these Livingstone colleges. Let's turn on the VSU games. Let's turn on these Antes, these Howards, these Grambling State. I mean, you on Morgan State, all these big schools. Let's give them the viewership. So the schools, because that's how people get money from viewership for sponsors and selling ads. So let's start recognizing and watching them so they can have that same experience. Because that's the only thing, honestly, I can think of. Obviously, you're going to have the better equipment, the better training facilities, but being viewed to get to the next level is what they really want. And I've been a big component of if you're talented, the next level is going to come find you.
Yeah.
So if we're viewing these games and they saying all these highlights on ESPN, all these Twitter posts, all these Facebook, Instagram posts of what did McCurl Maker just do at Howard, then these scouts are going to want to see what McCurl Maker doing at Howard. So I feel like just watching them more, being supportive as a community instead of so quick to turn on these other schools.
I completely agree, man. I completely agree that exposure is just the one thing that A lot of HBCUs just don't do. Even still, I remember when I was at Livingstone, I remember going to Jimmy R. Jenkins himself and saying, "Yo, we need to get on TV because Livingstone had a TV station.
Mm-hmm.
They have a TV network, and they was just using it to like show pictures and just the boring stuff that some schools do. And I was like, yo, no, we need to broadcast our football games. We had a 2-time CIAA winning basketball team. Why are we not putting them on TV? Why are we not showing promos? Like all this stuff. This is how you get students hyped. Students don't get hyped with education. I'm sorry. I'm being real here. This is a podcast. I'm being real with it. Do not get people to sign the dotted line. They don't. Especially after being in school for 18 years. They don't want to hear, "Oh, we'll offer you more classwork." They don't want to hear that.
You're right.
They don't want to hear that. What they want to hear is, "Oh, we have some really good." I was just like me. You talking on the phone before, man. HBCUs need to have better facilities, whether it's working out or whatever. Yo. We don't have the best facilities right now, but we're building towards that. But what we do have is a loving community that will uplift you even when you fall. What we do have is exposure to Aspire Network that has really been trying to uplift the HBCU community. So anybody watching this podcast, football, basketball, whatever season, go check out the Aspire Network. They're a broadcasting company that really does help.
They do.
A lot of black colleges, they show a whole lot of black football, basketball, whatever. So yeah,
you see me though, and you know nothing about these. I actually got 4, but COVID, we haven't got size for our other ring yet because of COVID. But yeah, 4-time CIAA champion.
That's what's up, man. Y'all earned it, man.
Anyway, no, just work.
Hey, you gotta love where the students, man. They did what they had to do.
Hey, yeah, I mean, yeah, and that's what I'm saying. A lot of people, man, like you said, I'm passionate about what you just said, bro. It's the exposure to HBCUs that HBCUs just don't get that exposure. And so, like how you stumbled on VSU, how I just accidentally stumbled on Livingstone, how he stumbled on Livingstone. A lot of people's stories will be the same. They just accidentally stumbled on Livingstone or VSU or Hampton. Unless you like a Howard or Hampton or FAMU, you really don't got. So I've even talked to some people where they're like, "There's not that many black colleges, only like 4 or 5." No, there's about 100. But people only know Hampton, Howard, FAMU. What's
Clark
another
Atlanta, the one.
We're not even that big. If you ask people, a lot of people don't even know about Clark Atlanta.
Morehouse.
Morehouse is one. But but like a lot of people don't know about Clark Atlanta. I mean, in the black community, Clark Atlanta is big. But once you start asking, like if you go up north, they don't know what the heck Clark Atlanta is. They might say Clark Atlanta because they remember the movie Drumline, and Clark Atlanta was in that movie. If it wasn't for that movie Drumline, you wouldn't even like. I always thought. What was the movie? What was the school Darius went to in that movie Drumline? It was North Carolina.
A&T.
It was supposed to be A&T, but it was like AT&T or something like that. It was just like something stupid. Oh, it was Atlanta A&T, and I remember growing up. I was like, "Oh, I want to go to Atlanta A&T," and it was like, "There ain't no such thing as Atlanta A&T." And so my heart was broken. I just knew I was going to go to Atlanta A&T and wear them blue and yellow uniforms, man. But I didn't know until later down the line that they was just knocking off North Carolina A&T. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But man, it was great, man, having you on the show, bro. It was awesome, bro. Make sure you go ahead and take the time right now. Tell all these people where they can go and they can find your podcast. Any spill, man. You got the floor for the next couple of minutes. Whatever you want to tell the people.
All right, so like I said, I do have a podcast on the Why Name It Podcast. You go on YouTube, type in the Why Name It Podcast, straight like that. Instagram, Why Name It Podcast. It's handle for Instagram and Twitter, and also you can click on the link tree in the Why Name It Podcast on the social medias, and it take you to our Apple Podcast, our Spotify, our Anchor, any major streaming platform. We up there. So I would love for you guys to tap in. Hopefully one day when we get the virtual like you guys have, I can have you guys come on the show for a few talk chop it up.
Yeah, man, most definitely would love to have you on there. Um, and just, yeah, we just love to have you on here. We'd love to chop it up with you some more. I'm gonna post it right here. You said the Why Name It podcast, man. That's what we're gonna put it right here. Not Why Name It podcast. Type it in the comments so people can know. Make sure you guys go. You guys follow that podcast, man. You guys go listen to it. I've listened to about three or four of them episodes. I was trying to listen to all of them. I ended up falling asleep. So, but no, not because y'all was boring. Just because I was tired.
I feel you. I feel you. I understand. Yo, we got what 8 8 episodes. So yeah.
Yeah, it be like that for real. And I be trying to listen to our podcast, and I be falling asleep myself. I be tired of.
I mean, hey, when you grinding all the time, bro, you be tired. That's all it is.
Man, we
That's
do
all it is.
all this research and information, man. It's tough.
It is, man.
Yeah.
But once again, thank you for coming on the show, bro.
Also, I got one more thing to say.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Arrest the murders that killed Breonna Taylor.
Always, man. We got to make sure we stick with the Black Lives Matter because if Black lives don't matter, then no lives matter. I'm just quoting.
Right.
Appreciate you again, Lou, man.
All right, thank you, man. Peace and love, man.
Peace and love, bro. Man, that was a great time, man. That was great having Lou here on the show. He had a lot of great things to say, man. What you think about what stuff he had to say, Aaron?
Hey, he gives some great information for those who don't know where HBCUs are. Are people who are interested but not sure if that's really what they want. I mean, like you said, for the most part, it's a great experience. It's a family experience. People gonna love you for you. It's not about you just being an athlete, because you're more than that.
Exactly.
And so they'll build you up and catapult you to where you're trying to go, man. We produce greatness at HBCU.
Exactly. We produce greatness all the time, man. Just another thing, another spitballing here. Well, not spitballing. This past NFL draft, we've had for the first time in HBCU history, somebody almost cracked the top first round. Okay, forgot his name. I meant to look it up last night, but last night was crazy. But for the first year, somebody from North Carolina A&T, I'm pretty sure it was drafted in the second round. He was like the 28th or 27th pick, so he barely got in the second round. But just the fact that we now have people going to HBCUs like North Carolina A&T or whatever the school is, cracking the top 2 rounds, that lets you know the top tier talent that they saw in this guy. And to be honest with you, personally, he was one of the best corners in the draft. Mike Mayock, not Mike Mayock because he doesn't do that no more, but the person who was doing the ratings had him as like the number 2 or number 3 corner behind my boy from Ohio State. And the reason why they had him behind is because, let's be honest, that he doesn't play Ohio State, Alabama, Florida. He doesn't play these big schools. So the big question mark they had with him is, can he really play? We know he was dominating in HBCU land, but can he play against Alabama? Can he play against Florida? Can he play against Duke and all those other big schools? So the reason why we want to change the culture here at HBCUs, man, is we know that we can compete. We know Livingstone can compete. We know all these schools can compete with bigger schools. And we know that these athletes need to come to bigger schools. They need to come, and by bigger, I mean bigger HBCUs. Because HBCUs are like we said with Lou, man, HBCUs are just going to treat you better, and they actually care about you as a person. Whereas a PWI, they only care about what they can get out of you. That's it. You are just another athlete. Once you break your leg, once you do whatever, and your career's over, so is your career at that school. Simple.
Yeah, it's over with. Your scholarship gone. Unless they really love you with that, then they may cater to you more. But yeah, if you can't produce for them how they want you to, you're just gonna be another jet, another average jet.
Exactly. So, with that being said, man, we want to bring on somebody who. You said what?
I said I introduce him.
Yeah, you go ahead, man. That's your man. That's your man. Go ahead, bring him on now.
So this is track coach of mine, well, former track coach of mine, as well as a professor of fitness and wellness. So he would have been a good person to bring on that too, but I forgot about it at that time. But yeah, he also ran track at a PWI. I forgot what year. He can tell you once he get on. East Carolina. So. No, I mean Western Carolina. I'm sorry. He gonna cuss me out.
Boy, look, he giving you bad. He giving you wrong, coach, man. But it's okay. Coming on to the live today, we have Mr. or shall I say, Coach Darius Benson. How you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good, Coach. Thanks for coming on the show today. Like he said, man, he was messing you up, man. I ain't know if you went to ECU, WCU, or NCU. I ain't know what you went to, bro.
ECU is actually, we have very similar colors, so people confuse WCU and ECU all the time. Like it's the same. It's almost the same colors too.
Yeah, I mean, color wise, they're about the same, you know. So I guess I give you that. He gave you a little leeway. It's all right. But you know, I'm gonna fire you up, bro. It's okay. Look.
I'm the same athlete. So.
But yeah, thank you so much. So my first question to you, being you said you went to a PWI, you went to Western Carolina. Seeing that you went to a PWI, but now you coach at a HBCU, what is the difference that you see in the athletes or just in the lifestyle period in the two different types of schools?
Yeah, I won't say that there's a huge difference in the athletes, but now you're talking about resources. Like I can just give some examples. Like at Western Carolina, like we have a very nice track.
Right.
Like the football facility is really nice. We have like 3 basketball gyms. And just like little things like that, like really interest athletes. And like for example, like at Livingstone, we have 1 gym. Like I'm just giving examples. Like Livingstone, we have 1 gym. Like our track needs a little bit of work. But again, like it's just all about resources to me. I don't think there's a huge difference in athletes. I wouldn't say that. But like I will say this, the atmosphere is totally different. And people ask me how, but I can't even explain it unless because I went to a PWI and now I coach and teach at a HBCU. I don't even know how to explain it, but it's just different. And I don't think that you can really explain it to someone unless they've either gone to an HBCU or they've had experience with both. Like I went to a PWI and I love it. I got 2 degrees from there, but I absolutely love working at Livingstone. Like the atmosphere, like it's just like somebody said, it kind of feels like it's like a family reunion. Yeah. And it's like, I don't know any other way to explain it, but because I've seen both sides of it, like I love it.
I think that's the perfect way to put it. Like you said, man, family reunion, a 4-year-long family reunion. I think that's the perfect way to put it, man. So, Aaron, man, what's question you got for Coach?
Okay, for sure. So first and foremost, I just want to kind of, because I asked you this, I want to ask you the same thing. So, what made you choose that school that you went to?
Well, see, I have a lot of ties to Western. Like I went 5 minutes, like I live 5 minutes from Western Carolina.
Okay.
I didn't want to go to Western Carolina because I grew up there, but I got a track scholarship. And the funny story is, Aaron, I forgot to tell you this the other day. I had 2 schools that I could go to. I could go to Western Carolina, or I could go to Bethune-Cookman. And I didn't really know anything about Bethune-Cookman because it's not like back then the counselors were like, hey, you ever heard of HBCU?
Right.
So I chose Western because it was right up the street. And I don't regret it. Met my wife there. Had a great time. Like I said, I got 2 degrees from Western, but I went more so because it's my hometown college. Like my mom went to school with my head coach. that I had in college. Like
Hometown
that's how much of a hometown it was. So I mean, that was really my reason. And
Okay.
I'll say this, another thing, I don't think where I'm from, there's not very many Black people. Like, for example, the high school I went to, there was 7 Black people in the high school.
And that's a big thing. That's a big thing.
Yeah,
Growing up,
I
I
don't
didn't. Growing up, I didn't have that many. I didn't have a big Black experience. I mean, until I moved to Durham, my last 2 years of high school, I went to predominantly Caucasian high schools and middle schools and elementary schools. So white was the only thing I really knew.
Yeah,
It wasn't until I went to Charles E. Jordan High School in Durham, North Carolina, to where it's about 50-50. It's about even. That I was like, Black people really ain't that bad.
Because I'll be honest with you, at my age then, I don't know if I was ready for an HBCU, just to be honest.
Right. Yeah.
At that age, I don't know if me going to Bethune-Cookman it might have been a little cultural shock. So I don't regret the decision. So I don't even know if I was ready back then.
And I was gonna ask you now, from what you know now, if you had to commit to a school, would you commit to HBCU or would you still go to Western Carolina?
See, that's a tough question because I believe everything happens for a reason. Like I said, I met my wife there. I had so many great relationships that I built at Western, so I wouldn't want to be like, well, yeah, I'd go to an HBCU. So I can't honestly say that I would, because I just believe that like everything happens for a reason. And my experience at Western Carolina was good. Now, if I had a bad experience, it might be different. But I had a really good experience at Western Carolina, so I wouldn't change anything.
So what you get your degree in at Western?
I have a bachelor's degree in entrepreneurship. I realized my last semester of college that I did not want my own business. So luckily I had a minor in coaching. So I said, you know what? I want to coach. So I went and got a master's degree in physical education. And luckily, because I had a minor in coaching, it kind of I didn't have to take a lot of extra classes whenever I got my master's.
Okay.
What's up, coach?
Based off of the degrees you got, you can do a whole lot with it, but we ain't gonna get into that, man. You did what was good for your life, and that's all was good for it, man.
And I feel like everybody needs to, like, and I would tell any African American, even though I want them to be, push for HBCUs. I mean, if you feel like it's the best situation for you, then do that. I mean, like, you shouldn't just feel like go there because you feel forced. You don't have to go to HBCU because you feel forced. You have to. If it's the right situation for you, that's when you get to make that decision.
Exactly. You got to go where you feel comfortable. Which actually leads up into the question another question I was going to ask you, coach, is when you go on recruiting trips and you sit in these living rooms, all these players and stuff, what's your pitch? What do you tell these players to get them, or runners, I guess in your case, to get them to come to your school? What do you tell the students and the parents?
I mean, the main thing with recruiting, it's all about relationships. Like I tell them what we have to offer, see what their goals are, tell them how we can meet those goals. More importantly, do we have something that you're interested in majoring in? Like, that's the big thing for me, because a lot of people out here recruiting, but if we don't have something that you're interested in, you're going to be on campus, you're going to be frustrated, you're not going to be engaged because you're in a major you don't really want to be in. So my main thing for them is, do we have something that you're interested in? And then we bring in. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was saying that's a big thing, because like we just said earlier, a lot of these PWIs, they say whatever just to get you in the door because they want your athletics, but they don't even care about your major.
See, that's the first thing that I ask recruits. Like, I go about it a little bit different because I don't want to waste your time or mine. So, for example, if you want to be an engineering major, and that's dear to your heart, well, Livingstone's not for you. We don't have that major. So I just bring them on campus. I try to build a relationship with them and the parents. We walk around campus, and I'm really open and honest. So, like, you can ask me anything, the good, the bad, the ugly. and I'm not trying to trick you into coming to Livingstone. So
yeah, I hope they don't ask about the, I hope they don't ask about the ugly because that's a big list. But
yeah, so I'm
man,
just open and honest with them. That's the only way I know how to be.
But as people who like us as fans, us as students, we all have. That's when we come together and try to lead people in the right direction because you're gonna have certain situations to try to knock you off your path the way you're trying to go. But it's gonna be hard. There's gonna be bad influences around. There's gonna be different distractions that you're gonna have to block away because even me, my freshman year, I kind of got off track. I was partying a lot. I was super passive. I wasn't doing what I was supposed to do. But then I started realizing that my grades were slipping, and I'm looking at myself. I was like, okay, I need to get this right because I'm here for a purpose. My mom's spending all this money on me. I'm getting all these loans and financial aid, and I'm not doing anything with it. So that's when I became that I'm here for a purpose, and that's what I'm doing. That's when I become the team, start being more committed to the classroom, and I started getting involved in different organizations, and it really, I got back on the path, and I know I should be on. So that's why I would pray for any, students coming into school. Period. Always keep your goal in track, and always know what your plan is and what your mission is. So being there, don't just be there, just in school. Have a purpose and mission.
And so this is going to lead into the last question we have for you. It's my last question for you, Coach. Is what do you feel that HBCUs need to do to reel in the big name athletes? Like, let's say we trying to get the next Zion Williamson.
Oh, that's easy. It's resources.
Exactly.
Especially with male athletes. Listen, especially with male athletes are more about the bells and the whistles. So like they're more about, hey, what's your weight room look like? Hey, what's the track? What's the football? Like it's all about. It's nice to say these things like, hey, yeah, you can come here, you can get this. But we have to find ways to like upgrade the facility. You just call it what it is. It's resources. Like if you make it nicer, I promise you can get better athletes. But it's all about just the resources, to be honest with you.
I completely agree. So that's why if anybody from Livingstone, high ranking, Ms. Gwen, I know you on my Facebook page. So if you're watching this, make sure you go tell Dr. Jamar Jenkins, you got all that money in the school. If you want some bigger athletes, which will in turn bring smarter people to your campus, which will in turn bring more money to the campus, which will in turn put more money in your pockets. Because that's what Jamar Jenkins is doing. But it's okay. We're going to let him slide. Bring the better athletes. Bring the better athletes, man. Because I'm a firm believer. I even did a paper on this in one of my classes. It was in my public speaking class. And I did a presentation on why sports is so important to a global society. And doing my research, I found that schools who have a very prominent sports background, Ohio State, Michigan, schools that have like the biggest sports presence, their number, they almost never have financial problems, ever. Never. And they never have enrollment issues. Their enrollment issues is they have turned too many people away. They never have a problem trying to fill their quota or trying to reach a certain standard. Because me personally, sports is the biggest entertainment there is.
Yeah.
The Super Bowl, you have in one day, the Super Bowl has more viewers than a lot of TV shows have for a whole season. So when sports is the biggest thing that brings together cultures. It brings together, racist people don't show their hats at football games. They do now because of Donald Trump, but before Donald Trump, they didn't do that. The racist people would hold the black person's hand and they would just wash their hands afterward. Sports bring people together. So I might be biased. We all might be biased on this podcast. You know, we all in sports and athletics, but I really do think the numbers back it up. That if you want to have a great school, if you want to have a great foundation, you gotta make sure your athletics is on point. Matter of fact, did you see that TV show? It was on BT, called The Block or The Yard or something like that. Aaron, you ever saw that show?
The block.
It's called The Yard or something like that. And basically, it was about how this woman came from PWI. She's trying to revive her teaching career. She was an assistant principal at a college, at a PWI college. She got fired for some embezzlement or whatever. And so to revive that career, she became the president of HBCU. And what I love about it, in the first episode, she looked at the football coach and said, "Yo, you are going to be crucial in changing the school around. You need to get your football team in shape. Because the second your football team starts winning games, we're gonna start bringing people in." So the very first thing she did, she came into the school. She went and found a way to get that team on a national stage. Got them a national television stage football game, and said, "You need to win this game." So that way people can say, "Well, dang, let me go type this school in real quick and look them up," because that's what happens. And like Lou said before, national exposure goes along with what you said, Coach, with the resources. Once you have those two things, exposure and resources, I really think exposure and resources is how you draw in the athletes. Exposure is what gets them the brain going. So if Livingstone is on a national stage, or maybe not even national, they just, they're on WBTV here in Charlotte one day, and you watching a track meet, and we in Livingstone track is clapping, beating them up. These the track runner is gonna be like, you know what? Let me go ahead and type in livingstone.edu real quick, and that's how it happens.
Just like I was telling Aaron, one of the top football recruits in the nation went to FAMU on a visit. Now, he didn't sign with FAMU, but just for the simple reason he went on an official visit, the alumni got excited, the community was excited. They started getting exposure on national television. Like, hey, Kevin, I don't know how to pronounce it, Thibodeau, went to visit FAMU on official visit, the #1 recruit in the nation. And they got all that exposure and all that hype for those couple of days. Imagine if he would have signed with them.
If he would have signed, that would have. See, honestly, when it came to that, I remember the story you're talking about. When it came to that, I really think, and this is just my conspiracy part of me thinking, I really think there were forces that made him not sign. Because if you go back and look at him, he was really saying, "Oh, I love FAMU. It was nice." People, all his loved ones were saying FAMU. He wants to go to FAMU, and then all of a sudden he don't sign with them. I really think that there were some darker forces that either gave him some money, that cause these under the table people passing checks and stuff. That's why he didn't sign with FAMU. But to be honest, if he would have signed with FAMU, that would have shifted a whole lot. Like it's already shifting because we had a player who was going to commit to Duke has now changed, and he's committed to I think it was Hampton, some HBCU.
Yeah, it's either Hampton or Howard.
Yeah, it was one of those two, and that happened like a week or two ago, like just 2-3 weeks ago. He switched from Duke to Hampton or Howard, and so that people going crazy about that right now. So HBCUs need to definitely prioritize athletics, most definitely.
Yeah, athletics is very important. Very important.
Well, with that being said, Coach, we thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, most definitely. For all your insight, man. It was awesome. It was beautiful. Aaron, you got anything you want to say, man?
Yeah, thank you again, Coach. Hopefully I'll see you soon. We can get back to work because I still got a year left on the track. So we're going to try to make something happen.
Yes, sir. I hope to see you, and I thank y'all for having me on.
Always. Hey, y'all, that's pretty much our show for today. But, we're not going to leave the show without giving you guys a couple of things to hold on to, So these last 10 minutes of the show, me and Aaron is going to sit here and talk to you guys about what's coming up next and just a little motivation to help you guys get through the week. First and foremost, this is like, what is this? This is like our sixth or seventh episode, bro. Like, I mean, technically we've had more episodes, but as far as like series wise, this is like our fifth series together, right, Aaron?
Yeah, if you talking about like as far as like the part ones and part twos, yeah.
Yeah, this is like our fifth series together, man, and we've seen nothing but growth. Every episode, we've seen nothing but growth, and I want to thank everybody for who's watched, who's been there with us, man. Jayla, you've been there with us day one. Josh, I know you've been there with us day one. Thank you guys so much for the growth. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and listening to our podcast, listening for the things we got to say. Because what we do, we don't do just for us. We don't research this knowledge. We don't research all the different things that we have on here, like the Juneteenth episode. The Juneteenth episode was a lot of research, a lot of research. But not only that, but we do that to make sure that what we say to you guys is 100% accurate. We don't want to come up here telling you guys lies and mistruths just because we want to just have something to put on here. We want to make sure we bring you guys the best content available.
Most definitely, that is definitely true. Like and then on top of that, we want to spread this knowledge to you so we can build you up and build up our community so we can make this world a better place for everybody and we can do some great things. We need some African American empires out here. We need some African American communities. So it starts with education. It starts with knowledge and teaching each other, so we all can have the smarts to do the right things and know how to go on in life and make proper decisions to where it's benefiting you and your family as well as your community as a whole. So
exactly, man.
To all these athletes, and parents are, future athletes, do your research. Don't just commit to HBCU because it's HBCU. Do your research on them. Make sure, like Coach said, make sure a school has the curriculum that you want, and make sure you're not just going for no reason. Make sure you have a plan and purpose in place, and they offer what you want, so you can be committed to it, and you'll be, comfortable with knowing that you on the right track to get into the career you want.
Exactly, man. 100%, man. This episode was strictly about athletics, but the HBCU life is more than just athletics. It's more than just stump the yard as some people think it is. When some people think about HBCUs, all they think about is stump the yard with Chris Brown in it. They think about stuff like that. No, it's more than just stump the yard. It's more than just football. It's more than just basketball. HBCU is like Coach said, it's a lifestyle. It's a whole lifestyle. It's a family reunion. Like Coach, I love when Coach said that. It really is a family reunion, most definitely. And the thing about a family is you're going to have your ups, you're going to have your downs. You're going to have to fight with financial aid to make sure your stuff get right. But at the same time, once you get your money, the teachers, like Coach said, is going to make sure that you good. The coach is going to make sure you're good. Even when you having a bad day, let's say you lost your grandma, God forbid, anything serious, a coach is going to be like, yo, you all right? People are actually going to care for you. And these HBCUs take time to actually inform and educate our Black minds to get them back to where they need to be, to the kings and queens statuses they need to be. That's why HBCUs matter, because they actually care. Anybody who takes the time to care for you, you got to go with them, man. Whether it's PWI or HBCU, but you got to go who cares for you.
Exactly. When you feel at home, just like for example, like it can be a Tuesday throughout the week. You go to class and you go to camp and stuff. They may have different things and they play music. They have like different games and activities. When you go outside, they have eager plan. Everybody just relax, having a good time. It's really like a family vibe. Like, and everybody for the most part knows everybody, unless it's a really huge school and it's kind of hard to really know everyone.
Right.
But if in a small private school like this, so it's very small, and but I love it because you know people, and everybody, most people knows you.
Mm-hmm.
And family oriented, and we had like game nights and different things. We have different activities. It's really great. It makes you feel comfortable. Like you really feel like you have a family and everybody's there for you. So
exactly.
It's a great experience.
It really is. So all the athletes, high school athletes, or any parents watching this that has an athlete coming in, especially if you track. If you're a track person, you done heard 3 track people today. If you're a track person, make sure you go check out Virginia State. Make sure you guys check out Livingstone. All I gotta say is, if you're an athlete, man, in high school and you're looking for college, I would say no matter how big of an athlete you are, just keep at least one HBCU on your list. And when you go on your tours, go tour at least one HBCU. And just see and definitely go when school is in session. And see what that life is like on campus with school in session. Because it's like Coach said, it's different. It's different, man. It's almost impossible to describe the type of feel that you get from just walk around campus. You got people joke on each other. You got some people be throwing dice, some people laughing. You got it's I can't even describe everything, man. It's just such a home feeling. It's so much better than any feeling in the world, college wise. And so if you guys like that home feeling, and if you guys also want some people who are going to coach, train, and push you guys to be the best athlete you can be, my recommendation is go to any HBCU near you. That's all I gotta say, man. But with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and start pushing to next week's to tomorrow's episode. Tomorrow's episode is HBCU Athletics Part 2. Where we have who we got on the show tomorrow, Aaron?
I'm not sure. We don't have somebody on
If I mean I've had so many people lined up in my head. I'm just like, bro, I forgot who all I had lined up. I gotta go check my schedule. Sorry about that, y'all. I'm usually more put together. This weekend's been kind of crazy for me. As you guys see what I'm wearing. I'm usually a lot more put together than this. I'm sorry for the bad representation here on the show. But yeah, tomorrow's show is gonna be a fire banger, just like tomorrow. But even beyond that, make sure y'all check out next week, bro. Next Sunday or next Saturday and Sunday, we're gonna start kicking off our HBCU week. Okay, and starting next, we said next Sunday, right? Starting next Sunday, we're gonna start that off.
Yes, sir. We're gonna start next Sunday.
Yep. So starting next Sunday, so from Sunday to Saturday, we're gonna post every single day. We're gonna have a different person on here every single day, probably two people per episode. And each day we're gonna walk you through the process of HBCU, from admissions to financial aid to the classroom to athletics to Greek life. We walk every day. It's gonna be a different stage. So HBCU week, make sure you guys check that out. It started next Sunday. And we're gonna post every single day of different people. It's gonna be fire, bro. I mean, we're gonna be the only podcast posting every single day with the whole thing. Man, come on now. It's gonna be fire. Y'all gotta tune in next week, bro. Make sure y'all tune in tomorrow as well. Anything else you gotta say to the people, my guy?
What'd you say?
Anything else you gotta say to the people?
All I want to say is thank y'all for listening to another show with the boys Stu and AT.
Always.
Y'all, as always, y'all know this week here for y'all. And like we always say, send us some questions or whatever y'all want to hear us talk about in our inboxes. And we would definitely be glad to, put it on the show and discuss whatever question you have. And just thank you. Y'all are awesome.
And like my co-host said, man, you guys are the best. You guys are awesome. Shoot. Make sure you guys go like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much for the heart. Make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe this, man. Share this to all your people. Like we said before, we said the last episode, we're gonna say it again here. Once we reach 100 subscribers, me and Aaron giving out $200. We're giving out $200. 100 for him, 100 for me. We're gonna give it out. We're gonna do a raffle. We're gonna do a drawing and just see. We're gonna pull a name out of a hat out of all of our subscribers, and bam, we're gonna send it to you. $200. Once we reach 100 subscribers on YouTube, we doing $200. So let's like, share, and subscribe. Go ahead and smash that like button. Smash that subscribe button. Make sure you click the bell so that way you guys can catch all of our content as soon as we post it. And yeah, let's get it, man. Let's get the Brother Truth Podcast name out there. So once again, thank you guys so much for tuning in. See you guys tomorrow at 7 o'clock. And with that being said, let's end it like that. You dig?